I was standing outside a university office, holding a piece of paper that wasn't a rejection, but wasn't an acceptance either. Just a number on a waiting list and a hollow feeling I couldn't quite name, a feeling that turned out to be a door starting to open. I didn't know it yet, but the version of me holding that paper was about to receive proof of something most people spend years searching for. Today I want to talk about the exact moment life stops feeling silent and starts feeling like it's actually responding to you, directly, personally. Not the loud miracles everyone talks about, the quiet mechanics underneath them, the small hinges the big doors swing on. Once you learn to recognize this shift, you'll stop wondering if anything out there is listening and start noticing what's already answering you. Let me take you back to that day, because the details matter more than they seemed to at the time. I had failed the entrance exam, not by a landslide, just enough to land in that gray zone between a yes and a no. Most people would have read that waiting list as rejection wearing a polite disguise and gone home to plan a different life. But something in me refused to accept the paper as the final word, so I went back to that office a second time. Unsure why, honestly, just following a pull I couldn't fully explain or justify to anyone who might have asked me. And there, in that hallway, I ran into the exact lecturer who taught my intended major, completely by accident, or so it seemed. She asked about my background, and I handed her my vocational college transcript, the one I had almost left at home that morning. Her expression changed the moment she read it. Not polite interest, genuine surprise, the kind you can't perform on command. Then she told me something I never expected to hear. With a background like mine, I technically wasn't even supposed to sit that entrance exam. The waiting list wasn't a punishment or a verdict on my worth. It was a clerical oversight that placed me exactly where I needed to stand, at exactly the right hour, in front of exactly the right person, holding exactly the right piece of paper in my hand. That's when I first understood something I still believe today. Sometimes a closed door is really a redirection, precise enough to feel guided. I'm not telling you this story to impress you. I'm telling you because I think you already have a version of it, maybe still unnamed. So let's talk about what these moments actually look like while they're happening, before hindsight hands you the meaning. The first sign is what I call the sideways door. You knock on one opportunity. It doesn't open, but a different one swings wide right beside it. One you never applied for, never asked for, never even noticed was available until it was suddenly the only door standing open. It looks like a detour while you're living it. It behaves like a straight line the moment you finally look back. If you've ever lost a job and landed somewhere better within weeks, you already know this pattern by feel, even without a name for it. Or missed one relationship entirely, only to walk into the right room at the right time, months later, without planning it. The second sign is a person who says one sentence that rearranges your entire understanding of your situation, the way my lecturer did for me. These people rarely know the weight of what they're saying in that moment. They're not sent to lecture you or to teach you a lesson. They're sent to hand you one specific piece of information, at the one moment you happen to be standing close enough to receive it. That's not small talk, even when it sounds like small talk. That's a message wearing an ordinary person's voice and an ordinary tone. If someone's words have ever stopped you mid-stride for no obvious reason, that sentence wasn't random. It arrived exactly on schedule, right when you needed it. The third sign is timing that refuses to stay casual. Not just good luck, but timing so specific it feels quietly engineered behind the scenes. You think of someone right before they call. You leave 5 minutes late and miss the accident you would have driven straight into. You apply for something on the one day the requirements happen to fit you exactly, as if the posting was written with you in mind. Coincidence can explain one of these moments alone, easily, but coincidence struggles to explain a pattern of them stacking up again and again. Across the same stretch of your life, clustering around the same decision, pointing you in roughly the same direction each time. The fourth sign lives in your body before it ever reaches your mind, a pull toward a place or decision with no logical justification yet available. I felt that exact pull the second time I walked back into that university building. I couldn't have defended it in an argument if pressed, But it was louder than my doubt, and it turned out to be right. Your gut sometimes receives information before your logic finishes processing the situation. And there's a fifth sign, one this channel talks about often in different forms: symbolic echoes that repeat around a decision you're wrestling with. A number that keeps resurfacing on receipts and clocks. An animal that crosses your path more than once in a single strange week. A song lyric that answers a question you only asked in your head, playing the moment you needed to hear it most. These echoes aren't proof by themselves, but layered with a sideways door, a one-sentence messenger, and timing too precise to dismiss, they add up. Here's a question I actually want answered in the comments below. What's the sentence, the sideways door, or the strange timing that changed your direction? The one you still can't fully explain to people who weren't there. I read these, and honestly, they're often more interesting than my own story. If you're in a waiting list season right now, stalled, rejected, unsure why your path suddenly narrowed, let me offer you a different reading of that discomfort. A waiting list isn't always a lesser version of a yes. Sometimes it's a holding pattern, keeping you in the exact airspace you need to be in. Until the right runway clears beneath you at the right hour with the right person standing there to receive you. The delay isn't proof you were wrong to want it in the first place. Delay and denial are not the same signature. It might be proof of a precision you simply can't measure yet. From where you're currently standing, you might be looking only at what's directly in front of you. Think about the last closed door in your own life for a second. Did anything unusual happen in the weeks right after? A name you hadn't heard in years, a call from someone unexpected, a chance meeting in a hallway that felt oddly significant at the time. These 5 signs rarely arrive labeled or announced. They arrive disguised as ordinary hallways, ordinary transcripts, ordinary sentences spoken by ordinary people going about their day. The recognizing is the whole skill here, not seeing more signs, but noticing the ones already happening around you right now, without fanfare or spotlight. I think about that hallway often, honestly, how close I came to skipping that second visit, to treating the waiting list as a final closed answer, instead of what it actually was, a temporary address, not a permanent verdict on whether I belonged where I was heading. The universe, or whatever guiding force you believe moves through your life, didn't announce itself with lightning that day. It announced itself with a transcript I almost forgot to bring, a hallway I almost didn't walk through, and one lecturer willing to look twice. Maybe your sign won't look anything like mine. It might be smaller, quieter, or arrive through someone you'd never expect to matter this much. But if you start watching for the sideways doors, the one-sentence messengers, the timing too precise to dismiss, the pull you can't explain, the echoes that repeat, you'll start to notice something that quietly changes everything about how you interpret hard seasons. You were never actually being ignored. You were being repositioned, one small, easy-to-miss clue at a time, toward exactly where you were always meant to stand. That waiting list I once dreaded turned into the reason I met the one person who could tell me the truth about my own path. I didn't manufacture that meeting. I didn't force that hallway conversation to happen the way it did. I simply didn't quit one day too early. And I think that's the real invitation hidden inside all 5 of these signs. Not blind faith, just enough patience to stay one day longer. If this gave you a new way to look at your own waiting list, whatever shape it's currently taking in your life, consider subscribing for more of these. I break these patterns down regularly, the sideways doors, the strange timing, the symbols that keep repeating until you finally stop and listen. And leave a like so this reaches someone else who needs to hear it today, exactly the way I needed someone to look twice at mine. I'll see you in the next one.